appropriateness of assessment methods. So once the learning targets are clearly set, it is now necessary to determine an appropriate assessment procedure or method. And we will discuss the general categories of assessment methods or instruments below. First is the written response instruments. So these are instruments where students provide written answers. Think of them as broad category that includes objective tests just like multiple choice, true or false, matching, and short answer, which are great for checking basic recall and understanding. And they can also assess higher level of thinking. Then there are essays which allow students to demonstrate deeper analysis, synthesis, and creative thinking. Though the questions need to be very specific to guide students effectively, the key challenge is to create questions that accurately measure what you intend to without confusing or frustrating the students. So the next one is the product rating scales. So kaning nga method is used to evaluate tangible items nga gi-create sa students. Instead of watching a process, you're assessing the final product, things like research paper, map, or a science project, or even ang drawing. So a good rating scale helps standardize the evaluation. Teachers often use a prototype or an example of an excellent product as a benchmark to compare students' work against, ensuring consistency and fairness in grading. Third one is the performance task. So this is all about what a student can do. It assesses practical skills and abilities by having students perform a task. So for example, instead of just answering questions about how to use a microscope, a student would actually use one. So these tasks often come with a performance checklist, which lists out all the necessary steps or behaviors a student should exhibit while performing the task. So the teacher simply checks off each behavior as it's observed, providing a clear record of the student's proficiency. The fourth one is the oral questioning. So, adding a method, it involves a direct verbal exchange between the teacher and the student. It's fantastic for quickly assessing a student's factual knowledge, their understanding of concepts, and their ability to articulate their thoughts clearly. It's also a way to see if a student can think on their feet. However, it's important to remember that some students might get nervous or anxious when speaking aloud, usually in front of their classmates, which could affect their performance and not truly reflect what they know. The last one is the observation and self-reports. So this category involves two ways of gathering information about student behavior and characteristics. So the first one is the observation is when a teacher systematically watches students and records specific actions or frequencies of behaviors, often usually using a tally sheet. So this is good for understanding how students interact or perform in natural settings. Second is the self-reports are when students themselves provide information about their own behaviors, feelings, or characteristics, usually through a checklist or a questionnaire. While self-reports can give insights into a student's perspective, they can sometimes be influenced by a student's desire to present themselves favorably. So it's often best to use them in combination with other assessment methods. So that's all for my topic, the appropriateness of assessment methods.